Hi, everybody. This is Elizabeth Swider with Care is There Geriatric Care Management. I'm here with Phil Blosser, and I wanted you to meet Phil because he's a lighting designer, and he has one of his specialties is working with seniors that come to him and say, I need more light in my house. But one of the things I've learned from Phil is that sometimes they just need different light to have their home work for them, and he can design some solutions that have them have a beautiful home they feel comfortable in that also works for them and has them be safe in their home.
You know, I think while we're standing here, I have with me here something that maybe many people will recognize. It's the old light fixture that we started with. I know when I was a little boy, this was in the farmhouse.
Wow.
And I remember, too, that my brother was so smart because his was a pull chain, and he hooked a string to it to the foot of his bed, and he could turn off the lights with his foot, and we thought that was the smartest thing. But this is the original, basically, invention that lighting came to us. Even this is an old style bulb on how it used to be. And I think some of my challenge with the elderly community, not only the elderly community, but all walks of society, is they're still thinking this when they think lighting.
Right.
And so what has happened over time, obviously if I could turn this on, this bulb would glow just orange. I mean, barely burns. Okay. And so what's happened over time is that really the only thing that's changed is they've put brighter and brighter and brighter bulbs in here.
Okay.
Even to now where you put, you know, the compact fluorescent or halogen things that are super, super bright. But the vehicle in sense is the same. It's basically putting a light holder in the middle of the room that can hold 1, 2, 3, or 4 of these things. And in a chandelier, it's basically an expensive version that's got 6, 8, 10, or 12 of them.
Yes.
And so what's driving my passion is that this was how we started, and we've learned so much more about how to light spaces that people aren't not aware of, or not even aware that they should even be thinking of something different. And so in my lighting lab at my office, where I take every client through and let them see the impact on a room of different ways other than this bright light in the middle of the room, we can call it. It's a powerful way of knowing why you would want to do what you're going to do to your space, to your home, your church, or wherever you're at.
It's a great service because, like you said, we just think of the same things that we've always seen.
Well, and this obviously is the cheapest option, to stick one of these in the middle of the room and you're done.
Okay.
But it's pretty much the worst for the space and for you. And so being able to work with people to help them understand why they might want to invest more for something different, you know, is pretty much what separates me from the typical electrician as a lighting designer and electrical contractor. And I think one of the things that I encounter often with the elderly population is that they will come to me wanting yet a brighter, or wanting what can I stick in my light that's even brighter yet because I can't see. And so part of that is what you mentioned earlier, is that I want to talk to them about a different way of lighting. So in a sense, putting a brighter light in the middle of the room doesn't help.
Okay.
Basically, nothing happens in the middle of the room, and so the thought of putting a light there to light what's around the perimeter, it doesn't matter how bright that light is, it's not going to help, because the brighter the light is in the middle of the room, the more our body restricts our eye to be able to handle that, so that we literally can't see any better of the object we're looking at, no matter how bright it is, because the brighter that gets, the more our eye closes.
You never think about that, but that's a great way to say it.
And so that's part of my, I guess, my message, that what I represent on that. And so using other ways of lighting a space is really kind of what I would be able to help people to know what to do, and then I would be able to install that for them, so it's kind of a turnkey operation. That's what pretty much my business model is.
Well,
designing and
we're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
So, so thanks for explaining that to us, and then why don't you show us a few examples so people can know what it looks like.
Yeah, well, what I have here is basically a before picture of a kitchen with a fluorescent light in the middle of the room, and that fluorescent light got there because someone wanted a lot of light in their kitchen in order to be able to see. But the unfortunate thing is, once again, none of the work in a kitchen happens in the middle of the floor. It all happens around the perimeter. So a person would stand basically with their back to the light every time they use their kitchen in this example. And this happens over and over again, and I see it repeatedly. And these are all different jobs that I was called to, and this is the before pictures. And not only is it a problem of not being able to see, in a sense, the task part of life, being able to see, but as you can see, as I show you some after pictures, the kitchen's become more emotionally charged. It looks more beautiful. In a sense, this is one room of the house where you invest more per square foot than any other, because you basically line the walls with custom cabinetry, pieces of wood that have been decorated in a way that makes that space on that wall the most expensive wall in the house. And yet, look at this picture. We're basically lighting it like a pantry or like a garage. The same fixture that would be in a pantry or garage, you're lighting the most expensively ordained walls, in a sense, of the entire house. And so what I'm able to do is to help people get away from this original bright light in the middle of the room, and this happens to be a pre-Civil War home that I just did, where I found the space lit with literally that naked bright bulb in the middle of the room, and to go with something different. As you see in the before-after picture here, I removed the bright light in the middle of the room and put light around the perimeter of the room, so that in this budget-driven job with minimal amount of costs, I was able to create a lot of light on the countertop, and in the process light some of the cabinetry. This happens to be an example, and I use this as a very low-budget solution to help improve the lighting levels where you need them in a kitchen. Obviously, more could be done to make the kitchen look nicer if money was available. Like, for example, in this kitchen, I was able to put some low-volt under-counter lighting and above-cabinet lighting, under-counter lighting on this job to create more of a drama, more beautiful countertops and backsplashes, and also just the intriguing of the brain of being able to see a place glowing that typically in a home does not have light. So once again, solutions can be had according to your budget. In this particular job, I was able to do uplighting as well above the cabinets. So I have not returned the items yet on the top of these cabinets to just finish the job. But you can see how not only is there great, let's basically look at the countertops to see how bright they are now, so that the task areas of this are phenomenal, and also the light glazing down across the cabinetry highlights the relief, in a sense. The raised panel look becomes more prominent. If you look at the bottom picture on the bottom, the bright light in the middle of the room shining out throughout the room creates a dull one-dimensional space versus the three-dimensional space of my new and improved lighting. So it's bringing together really the form and function, the function of being able to see, and the form of the beauty of the wood and the investment in the cabinets. It's not just pieces of plywood up there. It's actually, pieces of artwork, cabinetry that's been crafted. So it's really pulling those together to create a very functional space. So as you can see, a brighter light in the middle of the room would not have helped that space, but rather a different kind of lighting. And in this old pre-Civil War home, I was able to integrate some old-fashioned type looks of fixtures up into the beams to create, once again, lighting around the perimeter of the room. So often, the use of energy-efficient compact fluorescents exacerbate the whole situation by creating even a more glary bright light in the middle of the room concept. And so part of my passion right now is to make sure that in the name of saving some watts, people don't destroy their biggest investment, which is their home. And so that's where what the light makes you feel, or what the room feels like, is just as important as how much energy you're using. And I really do believe that your eye gathers a lot of information for not only your brain, but also what your heart is feeling. And so what we see we do make note of it, as in this example where, as an old dairy farmer, I immediately saw, as I drove down the road, a tree growing out of a silo and thought, wow, how did that ever happen? So my brain caught that and raised that question. It saw it out of the perimeter of my view. A rainbow can do that. It can make you feel the awe of the vast universe and the creation there. Memories of running through the mountain in a rainstorm with your son and his friends can all be relived by seeing that. Your eye catches it and remembers feelings and emotions. Or my young daughter and just her endearing look. So what you see does affect how you feel. So in this example of even a builder's home who had very bad glaring lighting in their kitchen, I so badly wanted to fix that because it was a nice, beautiful, high-end kitchen, and in a week's time I was able to go back in, change that to where now You look at objects instead of sources. And so what you see is now changing how you feel and how the kitchen works. So I do believe that great lighting can be had to be able to see well and not to eviscerate the emotion of your home. Those two things are very, very important to me. So come go the journey with us. Lighting, don't take it lightly. Let a professional do it. That's what I know and that's what I do, and I'm pretty excited about helping people to have an alternative to other than just per code electric, which is typically done in most homes when they're built to keep the cost down. So being able to turn that around to something that not only works well, makes you be able to see, but also make you just love your home.
It's a delight to be with you, and I learned so much from everything you've taken us through and things that I've never thought about before. So I'm pleased that not only I have access to Phil, but everybody else has access to Phil, so that you can help people have beautiful homes that work for them.
Right.
So why don't we again tell people how they can contact you in case they would like to engage you to help them have a beautiful home.
Great. Well, my website is blosserlighting.com, and that's BLOSSCR for Blosser, or my email address is Phil, and that's me, at blosserlighting.com.
Great, and I'm looking at your business card here, so I happen to see your phone number. So they can call you at 540-434-3990.
That's correct. That's my office number.
So this is Elizabeth Swider with Geriatric Care Management here with Phil Blosser in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Nice to be with you, and happy lighting.
There you go.